Well, greetings, productivity nerds. Tonight, you will have a transformational experience, I think. It may not hit you tonight, maybe not tomorrow, but if you've showed up or you're watching the replay, you're going to see some things that will give you ideas. And over time, I think, expand your capabilities, your thoughts about how you approach your work, how you approach your commitments. And I think it won't happen right away, but you'll start to maybe think, hey, I remember that. I recognize that. I was thinking about that. This might be something that I can do. This thing that that guy showed me on that video. So, with that, we're going to be looking at Emacs and org mode tonight. And we're going to be using those two things as a system for the GTD approach, the getting things done approach to doing work and projects and managing various commitments from different places. So tonight I've put some stuff on my microphone to see if we can manage my lip smacking a little bit. Still getting used to all that. But we'll go ahead and get started here. Okay. So here I have a document that I've created in my Scratch buffer here in Emacs. And before I get started, I'm just going to demonstrate really quick here that Emacs is just like any other app that you can install on your computer. For any Linux users out there who might be wondering, for this demonstration, I've just installed Ubuntu Mate for this tonight. But you can use Emacs virtually anywhere. And what I wanted to show here was that, as you can see, this is not a command line editor. This is not a terminal editor. This is not like Vim or VI. Sometimes people say, oh, well, you use Emacs. Well, I guess you're pretty comfortable on the command line. I'm pretty comfortable on the command line, but I'm showing you here, Emacs is not on the command line. You can use it on the command line, but it's not there. It's an actual program with a GUI. You can see here that I've got a toolbar and a menu bar. If you want to open a file, you can just click this and you can actually just open files on your computer. You can create a new file with just clicking this button. You can undo, copy, paste, find and replace, all that stuff. You can do it right here in the menu bar, but as I can show you, we can get rid of those. You can customize your Emacs window. You can make it very pretty. I'm just using a base. This is base Emacs. Like you see here, you just open it. I didn't have to open a terminal. That's the basic Emacs splash screen there. And this happens to be version 27.1, which is the current version. Just a second. Okay. All right, well, I'm going to expand the window here. All the files that we're going to be using, I'm going to try and go through pretty quick because we've got a lot to do. I'm going to make them available on GitHub. I've actually got a repository ready, so I think I'm going to save what I've done here as the README file. Oh, interesting. Caps lock is not working. Oh well. Copy that in. Okay, so I've just basically saved this as the README file. This is just what we're going to be doing. As I already said, for this particular video, I would just say that you should have some familiarity with Emacs and org mode because it's about setting up a GTD system with org mode. It's not an introduction to Emacs and org mode. Um, so basically, I was thinking about doing this at the end, but if you want, you could fast forward a little bit if you're watching the replay. Just a little bit about what GTD is. It's short for Getting Things Done, which is a book, a systematic approach to productivity and time management by David Allen. I put time management in quotes because it actually, in the book, it doesn't recommend time management because, as David Allen says, you don't manage time. You can't manage time, but you can only manage actions. So you basically get your actions sorted out and you can make the best use of your time. So GTD consists of a calendar that's central to the system because the system, or the approach, I should say, we're making a system tonight, but the approach is basically that you have a calendar that is central to your day, your week, planning out how you're going to spend your time. The calendar is the hard landscape, is the words that Alan uses. The hard landscape of your day, of your week, or your month. It shows you all of the things that need to get done on a specific day and time. But it's not the end of the system. That just tells you what you need, what needs to happen, whether you have a proposal that's due, or you have an appointment, or you have a party. And there may be various actions that are not tied to a day. So for things that are discretionary, that don't need to happen on a specific day and time, you have a list of next actions, which you can have one big list of all your next actions, or you can have them sorted out by context. And in addition to that, you'll have a list of projects. So projects, and I'm giving you a very simple top level analysis of the whole approach. I would recommend you read the whole book. But beyond your next actions, you'll have a list of projects, which are basically defined as an item or a commitment that has actions associated with it that requires multiple actions to get done. So an example of a discretionary single next action would be, pick up batteries from the store. So that's one action, and you'd have a list of errands, let's say, and you would be on that list. So when you're going out, you check and see, oh, while I'm out doing these other things, I'm going to pick up the batteries. So that's just one next action. Project would be like planning a party, for example. So going along with planning a party, you would maybe have a call you need to make. You need to call and see if so and so can come. So that would be a call. You might have to get a cake. You might have to do such and such. You might have to schedule to make sure that you can have a certain thing ready. So those would all be actions that are associated with a project. And the idea being that you have a list for everything. You would even have a list for your someday items. Like, I'm not going to get to this today, but I'm going to put it on the someday list, which I'll review once a week or every 2 weeks, whenever, just to check in and to see if that thing you put off, like, climb Kilimanjaro, for example. I know what happened there. I caps lock switches my keyboard layout. Okay. Hold on. Okay, never mind. So you check in with your someday list once in a while. The idea behind all of this is that you're getting these things off your mind. Because if you don't get these things off your mind and into a system, your brain will keep reminding you of these things at the wrong time. So you'll be in the shower and you'll think, oh, I really need to get batteries. And over time, if you have so many of these random reminders going off without context, it will stress you out and you just won't be very productive. And the last note I put here is that getting creative. Whoops, I erased everything. Getting creative means you can have these lists in any system you want. You can have a paper system. We're using org mode, but you can really get creative and think, if I had to have my perfect system, what kind of lists do I want? Do I want just one next action list, or do I want a list of my calls? Do I want a list of um, stuff I want to do when I'm at my computer, when I'm online, when I'm offline, when I'm relaxing? I could have a relaxing list. Do all these, these are things I want to do next time I'm relaxing. One thing David Allen recommends is having a list of items that you're waiting on. So let's say you had a next action to order something from Amazon. You put in the order, and then you have a list of things you're waiting on. And on that list would be, let's say you ordered a shirt, and it was from let's say it wasn't Amazon. Let's say it was from a site that, you didn't know exactly when it was going to arrive. Amazon's pretty quick. But if you had, something, you ordered a shirt from so-and-so, it might take 2 or 3 weeks to arrive. You would have a list of things, I'm waiting on this shirt to arrive. Or if you talk to your accountant and you sent them some information, you're waiting to hear back from them about it. That would be on a waiting list. So anyway, the idea is that you can get creative and have different lists for everything that you're doing. All right, so finally, in this video, what we're going to do is we're going to create some files. We're going to create a next actions list and a projects list. I don't know if we'll get to the other ones, because the way we're going to do it is that our next actions list is going to have our actions on it, and they will be given categories. Everything in org mode happens on these little nodes, which are notated with a asterisk. So I could create, another node beneath this one, and now these items are associated with that node. What you can do is, let's say this node was an action, you can Control-C, Control-X, and the letter P. You'll see in your screen, it's kind of small, but at the bottom, what's called the Emacs mini buffer down here, it's prompting me for a category. Or it's prompting me for what property I want to associate with that node. So I'll type CAT, and I can tap autocomplete. It gives me category, and I can put a category here. I'll just put test. Now you see there's a property of category associated with this node here. And what we're going to do is we're going to use these to give context to our next actions. That's what I talked about before. So I'm just going to delete these now, because we don't need these associated with this node. Okay, so that's our README file. What I've already done for the GitHub project is I've basically created a directory called org files, where we're going to have all these files that we're going to be using in our system. And we're going to go ahead and get started. So after this video is done, I'll have all of this stuff push up to GitHub. And we'll go ahead and get started. All right, so first we're going to create our files in Emacs. That's, of course, Control-X, Control-F. You can see I'm already in the org files directory. You can have these files anywhere in your file system. I recommend having them in the same directory, because when you use file attachments, which is something we may have time to get into, you can actually associate files with nodes in your org file. It's particularly helpful with your projects, because you might have various files associated with one project, and if you have them basically linked in org mode, you'll never really lose them. You won't have to create another directory. Like if we're coming into tax season, if you're creating a directory with all of your tax documents, you would go into your file system /documents/taxes 2021 and start putting stuff in there. With org mode, you don't have to do that, because you can just create an attachment to a node, put all the files in there, and what they call those in the GTD approach, those would be called project support materials. So basically, you're going to have your list of projects, and you're going to associate files with them via attachments. But that's jumping ahead a little bit. We're just creating our next actions. I'm just going to call it next.org. And going to give it a title, next actions. And I'm going to make that bigger. Good. There's a few things we're going to do in here. One thing I would recommend is we set up, first of all, tags. That's a file tags heading, and let's just call this actions. So when we eventually are setting up our org agenda, the agenda is what's going to put all of this in a list for us. Every action will have, by default, a tag of actions, which we can use to separate. There's a lot you can do with tags. That'll be a whole separate video. But for now, just to keep things clean, we're going to do that. And we're also going to set up an archive. Going to be a file called archives.org. And just the way org mode is set up, you have to put these colons at the end. What's going to happen is as you complete a next action and it's done, you're going to want to file it away, but you're going to want to file it away somewhere where you might, if you need to review it later, you can go back. So that's why we're setting up this archives.org file here. It's not set up yet, but we're setting that up for later. Okay, so now we've got our next actions file. Let's see what else we want to do in here. If you wanted to, there's not much point. You could set up an author. That's fine. And let's just set up an action here. Let's say pick up batteries. Control C, Control X, E. Already remembered we did a category last time. So we're going to give this a category of errands. So now go down. This has a category of errands. All right. Okay. We could do another one here. Let's be funny. You turn some videotapes. Anyone like Phil Collins? Let's not. Yeah, we'll do the. Fine. That also sounds like an errand. So once again, it takes the errand category. But let's close these for a second. Yeah, anyone new to org mode, you use tab to hide. They call it the visibility cycling, I think. But anyway, so now we've got two actions. Let's set up a project here. All right, so I'm going to create a new file called projects.org. You can see it might be small, or maybe not. I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, that's fairly visible down there. Okay, so /org file /projects.org. We're just creating a whoop. I was in the wrong window. So now we created a project file. Just to be consistent, I'm going to copy some of this stuff. Of course, we're going to change. This is our projects. And the tag that all of the nodes in this file are going to inherit is projects. So that's going to be helpful. As I said, when we're opening up our agenda view, you're going to see the project tag, and you'll also be able to search for items based on their tags. So if you want to just pull up all your projects. You can filter by that tag. Okay. So for the projects as well, when a project is completed, we want to archive it to the archives.org file. And this is, of course, all of this is customizable. This is a custom system. You're taking the GTD approach, but you're building your own system that you can iterate on over the years, make it do anything that you need it to do. Okay, I'm doing pretty good on time. Okay, so now let's set up a project. Um, let's call this org mode video. That's a project. And again, what we can do with projects is Control C, Control X, P. Put a category. You know what? Let's give this category of YouTube. Let's say you're making YouTube videos. Now you've got a whole project category called YouTube. And I believe you can, when you put in a category and you're giving a category property to other nodes, I believe you can tab complete because it sort of enters I think it enters your project scope, which is convenient. But I'll test that to make sure, but I think that's the way it goes. All right, so now we've got next actions, we've got projects. The next thing is the org agenda. So I'm just going to bring up a plain org agenda just to show you what it does. And we're going to set up a hotkey for this, a key command. But for now, I'm just going to run the function with meta x or alt x. You'll see down in the mini buffer mx. It's prompting me for a function. So I believe the function is org/agenda. Yeah, so what happens when this function runs, it brings up this dispatcher and it prompts you for a key. What agenda view do you want? So if you click A, it'll give you the agenda for the current week or day. T is just a list of everything that has a to-do entry on it. We haven't got to to-dos yet. But so what I wanted to show you was basically the default view with A. So you'll see, so this is your agenda. It tells you we're in week 9 of the year. Can I make this bigger? Yeah, I can. Okay. So oh, hold on a second. Pardon. Okay. Speaking of GTD, I'm planning a party. So I was just checking in with people. So this is the default agenda view is a view of your week. So you can see we're in week 9 of the year. It's the first week of March. Conveniently, the first day of March was a Monday, so this is just perfect. We're currently on Tuesday, so it's italicized, and Saturday and Sunday are bolded. So right now, the agenda is not showing us anything because the agenda is not it's not parsing any of our org files. We have to tell it to do that. And the way we do that, the easiest way is, you know what? We're going to do it the hard way because you can use the Emacs customize feature, but we can code this ourselves with some Lisp stuff. So what I'm going to do is create a Lisp directory. in our org file here, and we're going to create a file called gtd.el. So this is a create that directory. Yes. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to go to our I'll go back. We're going to create a .emacs file to be our init file. We're just going to put one command in here though, which is load file. It's going to be /org files /lisp /gtd.el. Okay, that worked. We just evaluated that. So what this function is going to do, the load file, it's just going to load some custom Emacs Lisp code that we're going to write. So that way you can see it when I push this up to GitHub. You'll have everything. So as I'm saying, there's an easier way to do that, but we're not going to take any shortcuts. We're going to do it the right way. Well, there is no right way, but it's there's different ways of doing it. So first and foremost, let's add the next file and the projects file to the agenda scope, basically, so that when we open the agenda, it will pull up these items. So here I'm going to show you something that will change your life in Emacs. Control H and the letter I. Oh, it brings up info mode. I've already loaded the org manual, but the default is the top of the info directory, which gives you it shows you all the manuals that you have installed. And when you install new packages, usually they come with their own manuals. If it's a pretty big package like Magit or Octec and stuff like that. So a few basics we're going to put into our GTD.el file. Spacebar will take you through these. Blah blah blah. Installation. These are important. These are the hotkeys I told you about, the key commands that will bring up various org mode related stuff. So let's jump back to our GTD.el file. Get nice and clean. And let's do a little comment. Our basic org keys. I'm not going to get into storing links. Basically, the only one we're going to use is this one. Control C and the A key will bring up the org agenda. That's the only one we're really concerned with today. But yeah, that's what we need there. Okay, I believe. Go to the see, if you hit D in info mode, it goes to the top. So if you click M, you can tab complete org mode, and it'll bring you back to the org space. Take you down. So the next thing we wanted was we're going to create our own custom agenda views. This is the info node for agenda views. But before we move too far ahead, I'm going to Control XB to jump back to my my README buffer. So we're going to see what kind of progress we're making. All right, we created our next actions file. We created our projects file. Okay, so the create files part is done. All right, so now we're on to agenda views. Okay, before we create a custom agenda view, let's just show you the default here. So I'm going to go back to projects, and you can see here the projects node. No, pardon me, not the projects node, the org mode video node. What we can do here, I'm skipping ahead, right, okay. We need to, first of all, add these to org mode. So back a second. Basically the agenda view, here we go, okay, agenda files. So yeah, so there's a key command here, org agenda file to front. But if you do this, it will add your file into the system via custom, which means it writes the code for you, basically. We're going to write the code manually because for demonstration purposes, I think that would be better. So let's see here. Should be some, where is it? I believe this is I believe it's a variable. Let's see. Control HV org agenda files. Yeah, org agenda files. See, so it tells you you can customize this variable. Oh, that looks nasty. Sorry. Huh, you could have an org directory. I'm just going to do I'm going to stick with the conventional way, but that's something we'll look at. So the variable is org agenda files. So let's see if I can do this right. Where am I? Wrong window again. Okay. So gtd.el. We're back in our Emacs list file. Agenda files to scope. Oh, why did it do that? See, I'm still learning, folks. We do 2 semicolons. Oh, that's all right. Okay. So I believe you can set a variable with the setq command, org agenda files, and I believe we can just go files next.org, and I believe this takes multiple inputs here. I mean, we can verify that if we go back to the help. Why isn't it telling me the... Hey, I think we've got it. Yeah, okay, wrong number of arguments. Okay. Yeah, it is. You know what? I thought there'd be an example in help. That's okay. Just for the sake of demonstration, we'll add them in custom. Okay. Sorry about that, folks. We'll come back to that another day. So Control C. Whoop. It's Control C and a left bracket. Yeah. Okay. So the file was added to the agenda file list. So the projects. Control C left bracket. Okay. Cool. What we can do is, if we go into customize -option, the variable is org agenda files. You'll see right there. Oh, interesting. Okay, it looks like my command brought in 1, but okay, never mind. Let's just go back. Yes, I think I had part of it right. Oh, okay. I may have to restart Emacs really quick. Hold on. Ba-da-da. All right, customize option, org agenda files. Why isn't that working? Oh, let's go the long way. Yep. Okay, well, either way, they should be added now. I'm not sure why I couldn't bring it up in custom. Oh, well. So what we're going to do, let's say our org mode video, we want it to be due this Friday. Control C and the letter D. Oh, sorry, Control C, Control D brings up a calendar here, and we can choose Friday, the 5th. Okay, so save that. And now, let's see. Okay, Control C and the letter A brings up our agenda view because we set that hotkey. And if we click A, okay, finally something is working. So you'll see here Tuesday, like if I click D for just the day, it tells me in 3 days the org mode video is due. I believe W, yeah, brings back the week. And you can see here for Friday, the deadline for the org mode video. So now we've just set up the first part of our GTD system, which is the calendar, the hard landscape. So projects typically, when I'm doing my systems, projects will have due dates. Next actions are discretionary, so they won't. Now the question is, can we bring those next actions into our agenda view so we can see our calendar and our next actions all in the same place? So that'll be the next challenge. But there is an example for this in the help menu. So let's go Control H and letter I, org mode, and agenda views. Okay. We've got through our agenda files. We've got through the dispatcher. We know the built-in agenda views. So here we want custom agenda views. Now, this is where it gets fun. So these are some examples of some different views. So you see, make it a little bigger for you. So basically what you can see here is that when you bring up your agenda dispatcher, you can say, when I click the letter X, I want it to just bring up an agenda. Or when I hit Y, I want all to-do items with the label of waiting. You see, org mode was written kind of with some GTD in mind. So, we have this example to-do item of waiting. So, but we don't want to jump ahead. So we're just going to actually take this and see, we're going to customize this for our system. So I'm just going to bring it over to our gtd.el file. And we're going to customize that. Okay. All right, cool. Okay. So first, though, in our next file, we want some to-do states that we're going to cycle through. That's weird. a little mess of things there. So the way we do that is an item here called seq. It's like sequence to do. So we know we want next. And, these little parentheses are shortcut keys. We want waiting. And I think we'll just do done after that. Control C, refreshes it. So now batteries, that's a next action. Return some videotapes, next action. Let's create one that's waiting. Buy from content. Okay. And all right. So now what we're going to do here is we're going to create one called G. This will be our GTD view. And I'm going to kill all of these ones because we're not going to need them. Let me see if I can balance my parentheses here. I believe that worked. Let's just try that. Control A. Okay, G. It still says agenda for current week or day, but we can edit that. Okay, so at least that part is working. All right. Okay. My throat is getting, my voice is getting a little hoarse here, so I'm going to pause the stream and get some water really quick.
セガビデオゲーム SG1000。
All right, I'm back. And so yeah, I stopped off, got some water and a bathroom break as well. That's good. Okay. All right. Oh, and you know what? There's no need for that bathroom banner right now. Okay. And while I was away, I got a handy reference for what we're doing here. Okay. So what we want to do, and I was in the wrong window again. For our GTD view, we're going to give it a label. We'll just call it GTD view. So that's an argument that this function takes. Okay, so let's. Okay. So I believe if we want to do this multiple times, do that. Now we should be able to put in our stuff. All right, so we want a to-do labeled next. So this will match our to-do state. And we're going to give it a header. You'll see, because if we don't give it a header in the agenda, it'll just say, to-do matching next, and it's not very nice. So do org agenda, overriding header, next actions. Cool. Okay, so the next one, to-do of waiting, and an org agenda, overriding header, not heading. Catch myself with all this manual typing. Header, I'm going to say waiting on. Good, it's a string. And then another one is a to-do of done. I think it's good to have to be able to see what you've labeled as done, especially because part of GTD is doing a weekly review. It doesn't have to be weekly, but you have a regular interval in which you go back and you review your system, review what you did that week, to sort of keep things fresh and to evaluate things. So if something is done, you don't want to immediately throw it into your archive. You might want to look back and see, oh, wow, this is what I did this week. Especially for work, if you do like regular performance or self-evaluations, you want to have all this stuff noted so you can show them how valuable you are. We'll just say, we'll label that completed items. Okay, close that string. And we'll just pray that all our parentheses are balanced. Well, that's not such a big deal. And let's do a tag search. So tags for projects. Let me just make sure that was the tag I put in our projects. Okay, lowercase. Okay, so lowercase projects. So this will give us anything that's tagged projects, which would be all of our projects. So now from our agenda view, we're going to see our calendar, which is our hard landscape. We're going to see the next actions, the waiting, done, and all of our projects too. So you don't, according to GTD, I don't think they recommend you review your projects every day, like every time you open your agenda. But so that I'll leave that up to you. But I find that works for me because I don't have to rerun the agenda view again or visit the projects file. So that is fine for me. Overriding. I noticed another typo. Overriding header. Projects in progress. Cool. Typing in all this stuff manually just feels so retro and satisfying. I love it. I think that's good for now. Let's see if these. Okay, well, it did evaluate successfully, so I'm going to assume that these parentheses are balanced. Let's find out. Control C, A, and you see there, G for a GTD view. Holy crap, it worked on the first shot. That's pretty good. I won't lie, that's pretty cool. All right. If you press the O button and then click R for refresh, it'll build out O focuses on the agenda and R refreshes it. So you'll see it now. It's filled up the whole window. And I'm sure, as you know, in Emacs, when we say windows, we don't mean the window. We mean your viewable area here. In Emacs world, this thing I'm dragging around is called a frame, not a window. So, so you'll see here now, we've got at the top our agenda view, which is our hard landscape of our week. Remember, and D and W still work. If I just want to see the day, I click D, W. And you can create custom commands for that as well. The way I have it in my personal configuration, I believe it only shows me my current day, because if I've got an item that's due 3 days, you'll see the day view tells me, look, 3 days, this video is due. So I don't need to see the whole week, because now I'm seeing double. I'm seeing it's due in 3 days, and there's the deadline right there. So you can customize that. That's outside the scope of this video. And you can see we've got errands here, and if I click enter, it brings me to the next. It brings me to that item. What we want to do here is, we didn't give reply from accountant a category, but let's say we want, as I said, we're going to give these actions context, right? So let's create one with a different context. Will be call dad. So I'm going to Control C, Control X, P. Category is phone. Anything I'm going to be doing with my phone, let's say. So now, and let's make it next. Well, let me show you this. Okay, so Control C, A, G. You'll see on the agenda for today, under next actions, there's no call dad, because we didn't give it next. You can shift left, right to cycle through your to-do stages, or Control C, T. And remember, we set up a hotkey for next, this N. Awesome. And so now we've got a next action, an official next. It's going to show up in the agenda because we marked it next with a property of a category phone. So Control C, A, G, and there it is. Under the phone category, call dad. So now let's say, now we had 100 next actions, all with different contexts. We want to focus on one. If I'm leaving the house now and I just want to see my errands, do a less than symbol. So that's shift and the comma key, basically. So now the whole agenda view is only going to show me items that are categorized with the context of errands. So that's important for GTD, because the idea is you're always going to filter by context based on what you're doing. So if you're leaving the house, you want to see errands. If you got your phone and you want to make calls, less than again brings it back. I can go just to phone, less than on phone, and now the whole agenda buffer is only things that are categorized as phone. So that's very cool. And the less than brings back everything again. All right, so and you'll see our project is listed here. So now, keeping myself focused, let's go back to our README and see what kind of progress we've made. All right, so we did calendar, next actions, waiting, completed. I put a question mark here if we had time to go into like the areas of focus, they call them in GTD. I don't think we have that. I haven't really decided on how best to represent that in my org mode system, so we're not going to get to that today. We could create a someday list, but I think you can decide how you would like to best represent that. Like for example, you could have under projects, you could have your someday items listed, and how you'd want to do that totally depends. What you could easily do is just add an item to your projects file and have it tagged. Oh no, actually, anything in your projects file is going to have a base tag of projects, which is what this tag search is doing at the bottom of the agenda here. So so that might not be good, but what you could easily do is create a file called someday and set the file tags like I showed you up here, and just make that someday instead of projects. And you could categorize them as you will. Notice here in the agenda, the org mode video has a context there, category of YouTube. So we've even given our projects some context, which is good. So I think we have time to do file attachments. So let's say I wanted to do like my little README file here. If I wanted to write something like that for this video, so you do Control-C, Control-A, and you can create attachments. N will create a new attachment as an Emacs buffer and associate it with this node. I'm not sure. I believe it automatically assigns a unique ID to each node every time you create an attachment. Let's see if it does that. So N, create attachment named project support.org. Save it. Just saved it. Yes. Okay. So you see it wrote the file. It's in our org files directory. It creates a directory called data. You can customize that variable to make it attachments or files or whatever, but data is fine for me. It creates a random, a random 2-digit hash directory, then a unique ID that is associated with that node, and then the name of your project. So org mode video, project support, do this, do that. Self-organized bit org mode. Bit, of course, in honor of Rainer, famous org mode video creator. So let's just go back to the projects file, and you see it added the unique ID when I created the attachments. And what we can do is Control-C, Control-A. There's an option in here, capital F will open that directory. It created a ghost file. you can actually have Emacs not do that, which I do, and it'll list all of the files in that directory in Dured, the Emacs default file manager. So now, and you can create, go back to the projects file. Oh, you can do that process over and over again. Control C, Control A, N, create a new file, or you can actually link, if you have another file somewhere else in your computer. Let's say you downloaded, again, we're doing taxes. So let's say you downloaded a bank statement with your tax information. You can Control C, Control A, attach a file using the copy method. So, or the move method. So you can actually click M, put in the listing for that file, and it'll move it into the actual attachment directory for that node. So you'll never lose your files again. You'll never have to think, what's the best // file path for my project. Emacs will create it for you. There is a property for custom ID. I'm curious to see. Let's say we're making a Dured video. I can give this a category of YouTube. See, yeah, remembered. Oh, why didn't it do it? Category, YouTube. Shit. Okay. Category. Yeah, YouTube. Why is it doing it? I want category. I want YouTube. Weird. It's not. Oh well. Org mode is embarrassing me tonight by not doing things that it's supposed to. Yeah, category. YouTube, sure. Let's just copy it then. Let's get rid of the ID. Try the custom ID property. Let's just call it Dured. Okay, so now we have a node, a project with a category of YouTube with custom ID of Dured. So if I create an attachment, Control C, Control A, N, attachment named, just call it file.org. One of the things I love about attachments is that it doesn't matter what you name these files, or if you happen to use the same file name as something else, because it's in its own directory, so there's not going to be any conflict. All right, save it. Okay, so the custom ID doesn't do anything in this instance. You see it's still, if you look at the bottom of the mini buffer, created a random directory, another directory using a unique ID, and save my file. So go back to projects. Attachments, it looks like they always use the unique ID, which is great, which is fine, because org mode then is always going to associate that unique ID with those files, and you don't, it's like let org mode handle that, and you don't have to remember it. So that's cool. So that actually works in nicely with the GTD approach, because now the whole issue of creating a file path for certain files and a naming convention, we've just offloaded all of that from our mental processes and having org mode handle it for us. So that's great. Okay, I'm going to save this. And let's, before I push this all up to GitHub and we say goodnight, well, first of all, Shift and the tilde will grab all of those ghost files, and we can delete them. So I think, let's save this. Yeah, let's save our GTD BL. Okay. Get rid of the stupid ghost files. Yeah, in the next video, we'll turn off those ghost files. I think we're ready to go ahead and push this up to GitHub. I hope that was helpful. Does anybody have any questions before we push this up? Okay. We've only got one viewer anyway. All right. Let's see. So I should be able to, if I'm clicked in the right window, open up a command prompt. Org files, git add tac capital A will add all the files. Commit tac am. We'll just say in beginning. Oh, geez, I can't remember if it's two ends. Okay. Beginning. Okay. Oh, forgot to do. This is a VM. I don't have anything. I don't have any GitHub information. All right, put in the GitHub name. All right, and let's just see if all of that went up like it was supposed to. We'll see if Firefox is... Oh, that's pretty quick for the VM. Okay. Oop. Where that came. Oh, because I can't copy from one thing into the VM. Okay. All right. So everything should be up there. The link is in the description. All the files should be working. Yep, there's our agenda views. Okay, cool. So that is it. Thank you. Good night.